Country roads take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia. Mountain mama, take me home. Country roads, yeah, sing it, country roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia. Mountain mama, take me home. Country roads, take me home. Country roads, take me home. Country roads.
This card doesn't have a name on it, but it says love, 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 love. There we go. Our Soul Center cards, if you would like to leave your favorite quote on this card, you don't have to put your name on it, but if you do, you can be invited to share the quote here on a Sunday. If not, I'll read it. So, love, 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 love. Well, I'm not going to talk about love today. I'm going to talk about money. Oh yeah, I can feel it already. People are like, oh my God, this is the first time I came to here and she's going to talk about money. Or their eye rolls, or to look for the doors to see if they're locked. Money, money. People have strong emotions around money, right? People have strong emotions about money. Most of it is couched in fear. The fear of not having enough, the fear of running out, the fear of somebody knowing how much you make. Where'd that come from? Where'd that come from? Like, oh, I can't tell anybody how much I make. Don't want them to know what I have in the bank. Maybe I don't have enough and I'm embarrassed, or maybe I have a lot and I don't want anybody to know because I don't want them knocking at my door. That's a form of fear. The fear around money. Embarrassed. It's one of those topics. Politics, death, religion, and money. The things you don't want to talk about to anybody ever. Right? Because they have too much emotion to them. I'm like, it's just money. Like, why is it about that? What makes it so taboo to talk about money? You know, we spend money on all sorts of things all the time. We spend money on big things and little things. We spend lots of money. We spend a little bit of money. We spend money on things like cars and vacations and iced caramel lattes. Right? We do. That's Renee's favorite. You know, we spend money on big things and little things. We spend them on a pair of jeans, or dinner out, or a room with a view at the beach. We spend money. Me personally, these last couple of years, I hired a personal trainer. People say, why do you want to pay for that? Because I want to. Vina, right? Be like, I want to. That's what I want to spend my money on. I also spend my money on Dr. Zachariah. She gives me tune-ups about once a month, and my Akashic healer, who I meet with once a month as well, to give me that kind of thing. And I also spend money on art classes at the Cameron Art Museum. Because I want to. Because I want to. You do the same thing. You spend money on things you want. I mean, what is money anyway but a medium of exchange? That's all it is. It's worthless for the paper and ink that it is. We've decided how much value it holds, right? It's money. I'm saying it many times today. Money. You know, it's not a scary word. It's not even 4 letters. It's more than 4 letters. But there's a difference between spending money and giving money. Oh, now she's getting it. There's a difference between spending money. When we spend money, we choose what we want to trade our money for. It's an exchange, right? Like the things I mentioned for me, and the iced caramel latte, and the vacation, and the car, and whatever it is. And we get some personal satisfaction from that. And you can say, well, I don't want to spend my money paying Duke Power. Yes, you do. Yes, you do, because you get a cool house for it. Or you get a warm house for it, but I don't really want to. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I would say we should own our decisions about money and how we spend it. We should own that. It's something for us. It's a satisfaction. We spend money when we pay for something else to satisfy ourselves. So it's an exchange for personal satisfaction. Giving money is a little different than that, isn't it? Giving money is supporting something besides our personal self. Giving money is something that really is about lifting others or lifting the world. Like, it's totally different. There's no like personal satisfaction like I'm putting it under my arm and taking it home. Right? Like a sub sandwich from Jersey Mike's. You know, that's not what's happening there. Right? What happens is that we're offering, it's an exchange for making a difference in the world. You see, that's what giving is. It's an exchange for making a difference in the world. And that's the difference that I've come up with this week, sitting in my chair, the difference between spending and giving. So I went to Kahlil Gibran's book, The Prophet, to see what the prophet had to say about giving. You know, the prophet was on this island with these people waiting for his ship to come in for 12 years. Right? And he finally is at the top of the mountain. He sees his ship. He's so excited. He's finally going to be reunited with his people. They're going to come and pick him up. But the people on the island, they're like, they don't want him to go because they know he's so wise and learned. And they want to get all this information from him before he leaves because they realize that he is the fount of wisdom. Right? So that's kind of the base story. You'll have to read the book to get more of that. But so they asked the prophet all these different questions. They asked him questions like about these topics. Love, marriage, children, work, houses, clothes, buying and selling, all these different topics. There's one topic, and the rich man says to the prophet, whose name is Al-Mustafa, about money. He said, speak to us not about money, speak to us about giving. Speak to us about giving. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm going to read several excerpts for these couple pages. The prophet says this: there are those who give little of the much that they have, and they give it for recognition, and their hidden desire makes their gifts unwholesome. And there are those who have little and give it all. These are the believers in life and in the bounty of life, and their coffer is never empty. There are those who give with joy, and joy is their reward. There are those who give with pain, and pain is their baptism. And there are those who give and know not pain in giving, nor do they seek joy, nor do they give with a mindfulness of virtue. They give as in yonder valley, the myrtle breathes its fragrance into space. Through the hands of such as these, God speaks, and from behind their eyes, he smiles upon the earth. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Isn't that just beautiful? I was like, oh, I mean, this is what true giving is about right here. True giving is like the myrtle breathing its fragrance into space. Like that. And through those who give in that way is how God sees and God exists in the world. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? Like, what it's saying to me is that a true giver understands the truth of their nature. Like, that's their nature. That's his nature. That's her nature. Is to just be that. Not to evaluate anything, but to simply be the giver. To become that which we already were when we first arrived, but we've forgotten. That is who we are and how we live. Simply that. That's it. Well, if it was just that easy, huh? It sounds so wonderful and easy. Even last week when Theater for All was here and they sang Imagine no possessions. Imagine no possessions. The next line is, it's easy if you try. Is it? Is it really easy to imagine no possessions? Is it easy to imagine the freedom in no possessions? This week that stunned me when I sat with that. That just stunned me. Nothing. No possessions. Maybe Lenin really knew that. Maybe it was easy for him. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. But more often than not, this is how we think about it. And the prophet says this, you often say, I would give, but only to the deserving. The trees in your orchard say not so, nor the flocks in your pasture. They give that they may live, for to withhold is to perish. That's what the prophet's saying. That's what this wise man is saying. To not give is to perish. What does that even mean? Well, think about it. Think about this apple tree. If it stops bearing fruit, it's on its way out. It's withering and dying, right? I mean, when it's done with its fruiting, it's not long before it is dried up and withered and gone. That's what I took from it. Is it the same for us? I think that's what's being said here. Yeah. There is no deserving in giving. There is no deserving. This idea of deserving as a part of giving knows no place in it. Knows no place in it. Let me read this. Here's what Kahlil Gibran says through the prophet. See first that you yourself deserve to be a giver and an instrument of giving. For in truth, it is life that gives unto life, while you who deem yourself a giver are but a witness. You think it's me that gives? You think it's you that gives? What this is saying is there's only one source and it gives through me. I'm just the channel. I'm just the witness of what is possible. That's it. It's a totally different way of thinking about giving. I know. Am I blowing your minds? It's blowing my mind. It's not me who gives. Jesus knew that when he said everything through the Father through me. He was saying the same thing. It's like there is nothing that I do except to prepare myself to be that open channel, to see that you deserve yourself to be a giver, that you deserve to be that through which love flows. That. I was like this week about this book, and I was like, oh yes, this is what it's about. This is what it's about. To become that, what we already are. So, I'm going to ask you today to give your money to Spiritual Soul Center. Because it matters to me. And I want it to matter to you. I feel like I've been scratching around when I come here and tell you, we were $1,000 short on our budget. Or, oh my God, we made our budget by $120. I feel like a bird in a cage, scratching around in the bottom of the cage, looking for a little piece that's left to celebrate. I've been thinking way too small. This is important stuff we got going on here. There isn't anybody who comes in here that doesn't say, man, this place is full of love. Man, this place is different. Man, this is the place I want to be. I'm like, why aren't we thinking like this instead of scratching around for little coins in the dirt? That's what I'm saying. This is important to me. Is it important to you? Is this what you want? Do you want to expand this thing? Isn't the world calling for exactly this? Like we start to walk around, what the world needs now. What are we doing about it? Like, are we deciding to be the conduit through which that can happen and expand it? That's what I want to know. I want that. I want that. I'm ready. This energy of love and kindness is critical. Megan mentioned a little bit in her opening. It's critical to the vibration of the world. Yes, vote. And yes, vibrate love. Don't go to the polls and look for hate. Megan stopped for a minute in her car. I don't want to see that. Like, this is where we learn that. And you don't find answers here. You know, this is not a place of worship. We aren't worshiping anything here. We are living. We are learning how to live. We are learning how to be kind together. I hope I am asking you questions that open you up to a greater understanding of your own spiritual nature. We're not worshiping anything. Jesus didn't say anything about worship. Jesus said what? Follow me. He didn't say worship me. He didn't say build a big church with stained glass windows, you know, and a nice narthex and a baptismal font. I mean, you know, that wasn't what he did. He did what, I like to think he did what we're doing, which is walking around the world being the love that we are, being the kindness. Why wouldn't we want to expand that? Don't you want that?
Yes.
Well, in this world, we use money to do that, to find a bigger space, to offer more of our tithes in support of our brothers and sisters who are in need. Like, why wouldn't we want to do that? I do. And so I'm asking you. And I'm not begging you either. I'm saying let's wake up together and know that this is how it can work. Like, this movement does not have to stay at 3403 Winston Boulevard for the rest of its life. This movement could take over Wilmington. It could take over the state. It could be the thing that vibrates the next greatest something right here. Like, why not? Why are we this small thing? Oh, you know, we were able to pay Paula this month. What a big whoop. Like, what are we doing in the world with the kindness that we say we're about? That's what I want to talk about. And that's what I want to ask you if you want to be a part of. Because this energy in the world matters that we have here. This place where you go to feel love and connection, it matters. It matters. It matters to have a place where you can evolve spiritually. It matters. What if there wasn't a person in the world who didn't feel worthy? What if everyone felt worthy? What if you felt worthy? Like, I want this place to be that. The place where you can come and feel worthy just like you are. That there's nothing you have to learn, and there's no class you have to take, and there's no signature you have to make on a card somewhere that makes you that. That you are worthy now. Like, wouldn't that solve a lot in the world? If people just knew they were worthy the way they are. And if we were just kind all the time. Like I want this to go boom, 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 like this. That's what I want. And we can do that. We can do that here. You know, on day one, on the website, it says, love is what we are and love is what we see in all others. That's the mission of Spiritual Soul Center. 7.5 years ago, I was sat at my desk and I realized this week that had nothing to do with me, that I channeled an idea for this place that it was time for. And now it's time for all of us. Like, love is what I am and love is what I see everywhere. That transformed the whole planet. Ba-boom, ba-boom. So I'm asking you, do you want to support that?
Yes.
Do you want to give here? You know,
Yes.
Is this some place that makes sense for that? I say, let's feed this beast. You know, there's enough stuff in the media about how terrible things are and what the polls say and who's killing who and the school shoot. There's enough of that around. What about if Soul Center is the light in the darkness? What about if this is the place, you know? Like, and somebody starts writing about Spiritual Soul Center, not because we're so great, but because they cannot help but feel the energy of it. Not because we want to walk around like this or what we did, but because the energy is here, that we have become the conduits of God itself. And I want more people to know that. I don't want it to just be this 100 people that come here on Sunday. I want it to be a lot of people. I want it to be not for me, but for them. For them to know their worth. What about the teachers in New Hanover County? Just think about that. Don't you want them to feel worthy? Don't you want them to feel like somebody cares about them? I do. I do. What about you and your job? You know, I want you to know that what you do matters. And I hope that coming here is a way for you to understand that. Is a way for you to feel that. And not just from me. You hear it from the music. You hear it from Megan. You hear it from the welcome team. You're going to have some soup today. We're going to write encouragement cards to the people in Western North Carolina who were on the ground doing work. That's coming from us. That's coming from your heart. Like, that's what I want. And I want it to be big. You know what? I'm stealing a word. It's going to be huge. I mean big. Why not? Why not? I'm thinking too small. Let's feed this beast. Let's give here at Spiritual Soul Center, as in yonder valley, the myrtle breathes its fragrance into the air. That. Not because of anything else, but because of that. Because I am that, and this matters. This place matters. This message matters. This kindness matters. All this matters to me. It matters. And to remember that through the hands such as yours, God speaks. And from behind your eyes, He smiles on the world. That's how it works. That's how it works. So let's take a deep breath together and let's sit for a few moments together in meditation this morning. So breathe in and breathe out. One more time, in and out. So today, this is the day. This is the day that I'm asking you to make a commitment to this movement. This movement that's grounded in love and kindness. Is it a perfect movement? It is not. It is a movement whose intention as a movement is to ground ourselves in love and kindness, so that we transform ourselves, so that we deserve, in Kahlil Gibran's word, we deserve to be a giver, because we have removed every obstacle in us. We give because we recognize it is our true nature. And we feel deep satisfaction. Knowing that we are that. For a few moments in the stillness. So let me remind us that there are those who give little of the much which they have, and they give it for recognition, and their hidden desire makes their gifts unwholesome. And there are those who have little and give it all. These are the believers in life and the bounty of life, and their coffer is never empty. There are those who give with joy, and joy is their reward. There are those who give with pain, and that pain is their baptism. And there are those who give and know not pain in giving, nor do they seek joy, nor give with mindfulness of virtue. They give as in yonder valley, the myrtle breathes its fragrance into space. Through the hands of such as these, God speaks, and from behind their eyes, He smiles upon the earth. Amen. And say, may I
be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. May all be well. May all be peaceful and at ease. May all be happy.
see you next week? Have some soup. Have some soup.